Hey, what is going on, everybody? I'm Noah from PhoneDog.com, and I'm here with an Apple iPhone. This is the iPhone 3GS. We're going to take a look at the latest beta release of iPhone 4. This is iPhone OS 4 Beta 3, which was just released to developers earlier this week. It was actually released and then pulled without explanation, although there were some reports around the web that it was causing overheating and some issues with the flash memory inside and stuff. But anyway, back online now for devs, and we got a copy of it. We're going to take you through to show you some of the features that are coming in iPhone 4 that we already know about, and some of them already implemented on the beta release, how they work, kind of a preview of what's coming in iPhone OS 4 when it's released to all consumers. This coming summer, we believe it'll be in early June, and we believe it'll be tied to the release of the new iPhone, which folks are speculating will be called iPhone HD. But irrespective, if you've got a 3GS or a 3G, you can run the new iPhone OS 4 on them, although some features won't work on all iPhones. But hey, whatever, that's not the point. The point is the beta, so let's check it out. All right, so here's my iPhone. It's an iPhone 3GS, like I said, and let's lock it back up to show you from the beginning. I've been running iPhone OS 4, 4.0, Beta 3 for a few days now. Actually, fairly stable. Been able to use it. Having some issues with a few kind of random things here and there, but those are things that I've had issues with in the past anyway. Some stuff on Safari and some screen responsiveness stuff. So I'm not gonna chalk that up to the beta, but whatever. It's a beta, so we might have some glitches. So first thing you're gonna notice is when you unlock the phone, home screen backgrounds. That's something that, Android users of all kinds of other phones have had for, I think, since man first discovered Fire. I think it was Fire first and then home screen background second. And so now Apple's jumping on the bandwagon. So you can set custom home screen backgrounds as well as your lock screen backgrounds. So that's one thing. Second thing is multitasking, which, and these aren't necessarily new to Beta 3, but just iPhone OS 4 in general. So multitasking is, probably the biggest news. Again, something that other phones have been doing for a while. And, some controversy about, well, is it really multitasking because it's actually more like fast app switching in some cases. Other cases, multitasking will, certain processes can continue in the background. But that's more or less how most smartphone platforms work. And, I'm not defending Apple or chastising the other platforms. I'm just saying, it's not really all that different than most other smartphone platforms. The thing is that I don't have any multitasking-enabled apps on this phone yet. So I can't really show you how it works other than the iPod app, which already, does background. It works in the background on iPhone OS 3. But I can show you the way that the interface will work. So when you double-click on the home button, you get this little, your screen sort of pops up and all your app icons dim, and you get this kind of secondary dock tray at the bottom. And what you'll have down here is icons of, I like the general implementation of this, but there's some specific things I'm not so crazy about. What you get down here is you get icons of your most recently used apps. So you can scroll around and you can see the things that you most recently went to, or most recently had running. It's not necessarily the things that are running now. So it's a little bit confusing, and probably I guess most people won't mind, but I don't really like it. I wish they'd stuck to sort of one or the other, because I think there might be an issue. I just said most people won't probably mind it, but what you might run into is people thinking, oh my gosh, I have all these apps still running, even though they're not still running. Safari, Gigaput settings, whatever, those are all closed out, but it's still listing them all. So it might be a little confusing between, which of my multitasking apps are currently going on and which are just these recent apps that I've used recently. But anyway, that's how it works. And if you want to, kill any of these, get them out of this this kind of pop-up dock here, you just click and hold, and then, or touch and hold, I guess, press and hold, and then you'll get these little minus sign icons on all of your apps, and you can scroll through, and you can just pick ones to get rid of. So let's get rid of settings here, and it's gone. And there you go, easy enough. So that's kind of the first thing, is multitasking and this new sort of drawer of applications that emerges from the bottom when you double-click the home button. Now, if I showed you, if you scroll, swiping to the left will bring you more of the most recently used icons. Swiping to the right will bring you this new little widget that controls your iPod and also does screen orientation lock. Screen orientation lock on an iPhone, Personally, I don't see the need for it, but I've already talked to some people who do see the need for it. So whatever, there you go. It's a button, you click it, and then your accelerometer is locked out, so your screen doesn't rotate. I unlock it, and then my screen will rotate. Although it won't rotate now because home screen mode is only in portrait orientation. But you get the idea. That'll lock your screen. iPod widget. So simple enough. This particular album, all these songs are in there twice because my iTunes library is a mess. But you get the idea. You control your iPod, and then you can click the button or click the little icon here to actually go to your iPod. So that's accessible from anywhere. So if I'm in Safari and I double click and I go back, you know, I can scroll through, and there you go. All right, so there you go. Kind of the bottom drawer there with your recent apps, multitasking controls, and your widget. No word yet as to whether or not other apps will have widget functionality. I really hope so, because that's something that's missing from iPhone. And whether you're an iPhone fan or not, it's good to see competition. Good to see, you know, competition amongst different platforms, different companies spurring innovation on. So widgets are something that I think the iPhone OS could use for certain. Another thing relative to the home screen is folders. And so what you can do here is you can create folders of apps that make it easier to manage, you know, if you have dozens or hundreds, however many apps you have on your phone. I think the limit now is 2,160. I read somewhere that you can have installed at once with this new folder system. Basically what you can do is you can create folders of apps. So I am going to click and hold to enable editing of my icons. And then I'm going to grab, let's see here, I'm going to grab tennis.com and drag it onto the ESPN. And there you go. And now I have a folder called bookmarks because these are web bookmarks. And the system's actually kind of smart. I'm not sure if it uses meta tagging. It must use some kind of meta tagging to suggest a name that might work for you. Bookmarks sounds good enough. So I'll call it bookmarks and I'll click. And there you go. So now, instead of these icons for the apps, I have an icon for the folder. And I can click on the folder and then click on one of the icons, and then it goes. In this case, it loads up wait, what's going on with LeBron's elbow there? Yeah, all right. Nothing. So in this case, it loads up the web page because it's a bookmark icon. Now I'll go back, just click outside of the little area and go back to the home screen. Let's say I want to add something else to this one. I don't have another bookmark. Let's say I want to, you know, I'll create another folder. Here are my GPS running apps. So like that. Health. Look at that, right? But I'm not going to call it health. I'm going to call it running. Done. Saved. There you go. And you can grab these. You can move them around. You can actually, let's get the iPod out of the dock, and I'm going to put running down in the dock to try to remind myself to go running more often. And there you go. So you can, you know, have those, and it's a pretty nice little interface. Very easy to read, you know, very clear cut, and you can do. It's not unlimited, but again, I read somewhere that you can do a total of 2,160 apps. So you can figure out, you know, the number of apps you can put in a folder times the number of folders, et cetera, et cetera. And then you want to kill one. We'll go back to the edit mode, and we'll open this up, and we'll just drag everything out of the folder. And now, since the folder is empty, it gets rid of itself. And we'll do the same thing with bookmarks. Don't you like how I'm cleaning up my home screen on your time while you're watching this video? I could have done that later. But instead, I'm doing it now because, I don't know, it's just what I wanted to do. So there you go. I'm not going to finish cleaning up more. Got to get that tennis.com icon back. So folders, another new thing. Another new feature on iPhone OS 4, a new calculator icon. Woohoo! But next to that is the Game Center.